I almost died exploring an abandoned building, but I guarantee it's not any of the ways you'd expect. It was actually while filming a video at this building right here. This happened 2 years ago, back in July of 2023, and I actually didn't talk about it in that video at all. I almost died for 5,000 views, and the music I used in the video ended up getting a copyright claim, so I never made a single penny from this. The lengths I went through to make this video happen were absolutely insane. When I first heard about this abandoned nuclear power plant, I was convinced that if I filmed a video here, it was gonna go crazy and it was gonna blow up my channel. The only problem is that the power plant and the land it sits on is government property. The power plant is the property of the TVA, the Tennessee Valley Authority.
Now, an official with the TVA says the Hartsville Reservation is an active TVA site subject to federal security protocols, saying trespassing is not only illegal, but it can be dangerous as there are physical hazards in and around the structure.
People have been arrested for coming to this location. One extreme example being when 3 people jumped into the cooling tower with parachutes.
3 men were arrested yesterday for parachuting into the cooling tower of an old nuclear power plant that shut down in the 70s.
I wasn't planning on doing anything that crazy, but you can see why I was so cautious about exploring this place and why I did the things I'm about to tell you about. The story starts with my alarm going off at midnight. The video was filmed in Hartsville, Tennessee, which is about a 6-hour drive from where I am in Missouri. So I decided I'd wake up at midnight because then I'd be able to start exploring at 6 or 7 a.m. I did the drive, and with the stops I made, I got to Hartsville, Tennessee at 7 a.m. My plan was to park right here. The parking situation was extremely difficult because on one side was the Tennessee Valley Authority, who was responsible for hanging up all of the no trespassing and keep out signs around that place. And on the other side of me was a correctional facility. So this seemed like a good place to park. It seemed far enough away from those 2 places I just mentioned. The problem was that when I drove up to that spot, employees from this ARC automotive place were staring me down. I quickly realized that parking here was not gonna work. There was no way I'd be able to even leave my car or get into this place without being seen. I started studying the map on my phone, and I'm thinking there has to be a way to do this explore. I just drove 6 hours. I am not leaving without getting a video filmed. I thought about parking down here, but this road was inaccessible. Then I thought maybe I can park farther away and just walk, but then there's this river blocking me on 2 sides. This place is also off the highway, and there's nothing around. There's nowhere else to park. The only solution I could come up with was to park 5 miles away at a Walgreens. This was the closest thing there was. You can see on the map that's about a 2-hour walk, but it gets worse. It gets so much worse because that 5-mile, 2-hour walk only got me to here. And I wasn't about to walk right down this road past the Tennessee Valley Authority. So then I had to walk an additional mile through the woods, and there were so many thorn bushes in these woods. There was no path or anything like that. It was thick brush the whole entire way. I was wearing shorts and my legs got really cut up from the thorn bushes, as you can see right here. Keep in mind too, I was doing this in July. It was so hot outside, and I was extremely red by the time I got to the power plant. I also drank the last of my water that I'd brought with me once I got there, and this is an important detail to keep in mind for later. I checked out the cooling tower, some of the buildings, and I filmed my video, and to this day, it's still one of the coolest places I've ever explored. Now for the walk back, this is when shit gets real. By the time I got back through the woods, I was already dead. And I couldn't believe I had to walk another 5 miles along the highway to get back to my car. And keep in mind, I'd been out of water since I arrived at the power plant. By this point, it was around noon, and it was hot. It was much hotter than it had been that morning. So I'm walking back. I'd probably walked 1 mile along the highway, and I started thinking to myself, I'm not gonna make it. I remember thinking, I've never had a heat stroke, and I've never passed out before, but I'm pretty sure one of those things is about to happen. There was no one I could call, but I was panicking, and I got the idea to call an Uber. But 1, I didn't know if this area even had Ubers, and 2, I didn't know if an Uber driver would pick me up off the side of the highway. I decided it was worth a shot. As I'm opening up the Uber app on my phone dies. I know there's no way I'm gonna make it back. It's so hot, I'm not gonna make it 4 more miles, but I know I have to try. There's nothing else I can do. I have to just keep putting one leg in front of the other and see how far I can make it. I was so thirsty and I was just genuinely scared something bad was about to happen to me. I started watching the ground to see if I could find any old water bottles that people had thrown out of their car. If I found like a partially drank bottle on the ground, I was actually gonna drink it. I did not care at that point. Of course, this is the one highway I've ever seen that didn't have a bunch of trash along the side of it. I couldn't find anything. I'm starting to get dizzy, I'm extremely sunburnt, and I'm thinking to myself, this is it. Right as I'm having this thought, all of a sudden, I see a truck slow down next to me. The driver pulls up and he goes, "What are you doing out here, man? You're looking a little red." The only words I could muster up to say to this guy were, "I'm not homeless." I was so delirious at this point. I guess I thought that if he knew I wasn't a bum, I would have a better chance at him giving me a ride. He told me to hop in. At this point, I didn't even care if he was a serial killer because there was no way I would have made it back anyways. This actually happened to be the nicest guy I've ever met. I told him what I was doing and where my car was parked. The guy told me he lived near the power plant, and he was so nice, he said that if I ever wanted to explore it again, I could park in his driveway. He drove me back to my car. I went inside the Walgreens where my car was parked. I bought a water, a coconut water, and a Gatorade. I drank all three of those within probably 15-20 minutes. I then drove 6 hours to get back home. So this was a long fucking day. I really think God was on my side this day. God was like, "Kevin, you're not done yet. I'm sending some help for you. We're getting you back in the game." So I learned 3 good lessons from this explorer. 1, never go exploring in shorts. 2, always bring more water than you think you're gonna need. And 3, always bring a portable phone charger. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the story. As always, I'll see you guys next time. One last thing, I know people are gonna wonder why I'm giving out this location. You know, with urban exploring, you're not supposed to tell people where these spots are. And the answer is because everyone already knows about this one. And if they don't, you can find it within 30 seconds. Even just searching abandoned nuclear power plant on Google, you can find the location immediately. I mean, this place has its own Wikipedia page, for God's sakes. So if you're mad that I'm giving out the location, I don't want to hear about it, okay? That's ridiculous. Also, I don't recommend anyone do this. I'm not making this video as an instructional guide on how to explore this place. If anything, this video is a good reason why you shouldn't do this at all. So thank you guys for watching.